49ers Kyle Juszczyk is without a doubt the best fullback in the league, and honestly, it's not up for debate. So, when the San Francisco 49ers approached him this offseason about a pay cut, there were some stipulations in line, and of course, I would imagine that Kyle Juszczyk would feel a certain type of way about this situation. Well, Kyle Juszczyk caught up with Matt Mayoko on the 49ers Talk podcast to kind of talk about these things. And, Matt asked him point blank, like, how did that make you feel? Because you've done nothing but be a consummate professional for this team. You're the best fullback in the league, and they asked you to take a pay cut. How did that make you feel? And hey, Kyle Juszczyk was, really honest and honestly refreshing to hear players just speak about the things that fans typically don't get to see. It's a look behind the curtain. And again, credit to Matt Mayoko for asking these tough questions, because, who wants to talk about that? And so, but the way it's approached, it's very respectful. It's a great conversation. And I think you can sense from this conversation, Kyle Juszczyk, I think he's got something to prove this year. I think that's a common theme that we got for these players this year, but I'll let you take a listen, because Kyle definitely felt a certain type of way about having to take a pay cut this year from the 49ers.
You've been with the 49ers. This will be your 8th season.
Yeah.
You've made 7 Pro Bowls with the 49ers, 1 more with the Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. You're a very popular guy. Yet this offseason, you were asked to do something that no player wants to hear.
Yeah.
Which is, in essence,
take a pay cut.
Take a pay cut.
Yeah.
How did that hit you?
Honestly, it hurt when John came to me and asked. I wasn't necessarily expecting it, and I think it's natural for anybody for that. Just it kind of hurts your ego. It hurts your heart a little bit. I do understand that it's a business, but I do feel like I'm as valuable as what I was expected to get paid. But all that said, there definitely was a process that we had to go through, and I had to come to terms with it and that sort of thing. At the end of the day, though, I really, truly, I wanted to be a Niner. This is where I wanted to be. I absolutely love it here. I still love John and Kyle, still have great relationships with them. I think this is the best team in the league, and I think we have the best chance to win a Super Bowl. So this is where I wanted to be. This is where my roots. I have a home here. So we got it done, and I'm back with the Niners. And so I am happy. There's no hard feelings.
Did it take you a while to get there, though?
Yes, no, most definitely. It took me a while to get there. But, I'm here now, and I really, truly am excited for this season, and am still happy with my role, and I am genuinely excited to be a Niner and keep it going.
Look at this guy coming up here.
He knows what it's like to be a Niner. What's up, brother?
Of course, Jerry Rice. A lot of times when guys take pay cuts, it drops them down. You're still the highest paid fullback in the league.
Yeah, and quite honestly, that was important to me. That was something that went into the negotiations. That all right, we can figure this out and take a cut, but I still need to be the highest paid because
for all the reasons I mentioned.
Exactly. At the end, no knocks on other fullbacks in the league, but I'm the best fullback in the league, and I feel that way. I genuinely believe that, and I think other people tell you that, and so I thought it was important that my pay reflected that. So I am happy that I am still the highest paid, and I felt I deserved that.
Does it change at all? Kind of how you've been in the league now for a while.
Yeah.
This is the first time that where your contract has gone backward. Does it change kind of your mindset? Does it kind of drive it home? Like, man, you can't play forever, and you're probably closer to the end than the beginning.
And quite honestly, I had never even thought about that really being a possibility because my body feels incredible. I want to play as long as possible, and I always thought that was going to be up to me. And so, yes, this was the first time that it crept in my mind that maybe this isn't. Maybe how long I play isn't 100% up to me. So that was also a tough part of the conversation, was like kind of thinking about that. But at this point, going into year 12, I do think, you really have to take it year by year. And so at least, for this coming year, I'm guaranteed I'll be on the team this year, and we have a phenomenal team. So I'm just really focused on this year, have my best year that I possibly can.
Honestly, I totally get it. Like everything that Kyle Juszczyk said about, being hurt, that they would approach him for a pay cut. Yeah, man, like he's done nothing but's been requested of him doing his job. He's a leader in the locker room. He's just a well liked guy in this organization, and that can be the challenging part of it. When on one hand we have Brandon Ayuk trying to get every single penny he can, because we also understand there's the flip side of that coin where the team can also just ask you to take a pay cut or outright release you, maybe like an Eric Armstead. So there's a duality to these contracts, and it is a business, and I know fans like to be romantic about football and think about just football in the field, but there are other things that go into this. And Kyle Juszczyk was gracious enough to kind of let us in and be very candid about it. And I just think I do respect the fact that the 49ers were at least able to keep him as the highest paid fullback in the league. I do think that is a big element to that. I do think, I mean, you work so hard at your craft, you become the best at what you do. You want to be compensated as such. So, and to Kyle Juszczyk's credit, he's absolutely better than any other fullback in the league, and it just becomes challenging for Kyle. I sympathize with him for a little bit, and I hear it all the time. Fans are like, "Oh, these are multi-millionaires. Who cares? Why do you?" It's just, oh, he's still making I get it. I get it. But in the sense of where Kyle Juszczyk is in the terms of these guys aren't like normal people. They're doing something. They're putting their bodies on the line. There's a inherent danger that comes along with what they do. So there is compensation, and they work for a league that makes billions of dollars. So yes, they are going to get compensated as such. And even when a guy is taking a pay cut, you absolutely would imagine there would be some feelings. But what I do like is, again, they kept him as the highest paid fullback. But I also like the way he kind of talks about it. It feels like he has something to prove, because he was saying like, I feel like I'm in the best shape. I'm not slowing down. My body feels great. I figured that no one's going to tell me when I need to stop. I'll stop on my own terms. And I think this was the first time where Kyle Juszczyk has like really kind of looked himself in the mirror and be like, wow, I am at that stage of my career where, we're getting older and things change, times change, and all those different types of things. And the way he was expressing it, you can get the sense that resonates. And not only does that resonate, but there's some proving ground to be had there. And although, like I said, I do sympathize with Kyle for having to take a cut. That's not probably a good feeling, but it does sound like he's been able to kind of rationalize it and use it as fuel, use it as energy to continue to pour into this season. And hey, man, I think Kyle's great. I've talked about it before. I was like, dude, do we need, Braden? We got Braden Willis. You bring in Logan Thomas, and you got Cam Latu and Salbert and Pline. You got all these tight ends, but it's like, hey, throw Kyle Juszczyk in at tight end too. Why not? He can get it done. He's a great receiver, great blocker on the line of scrimmage. He's blocking DNs, defensive tackles all day, linebackers anyways. So why not use him more? Use him in a more creative way, and maybe even give him the ball more. We know he's a phenomenal player with the ball in his hands. I would love to see Kyle Juszczyk get more usage, but again, Great podcast, great insight. We don't hear from Kyle all that much. We definitely do. We know who Kyle Juszczyk is for sure. He's the best fullback in the league and has been for the majority of his entire career. So it's just unfortunate, in that situation when, as a fullback, you kind of understand that position is being phased out in a lot of offenses across the league. So the options available are dwindling. So you don't have a ton of leverage in that situation. So again, challenging, but I do appreciate Kyle's mentality, the way he's kind of handling it and processing it. And I think that will help benefit, hopefully the 49ers in the long run, because I think everyone on that roster got something to prove. It's the best roster in the NFL, and every single one of them is hungry, and they got a chip on their shoulder without last season ended. So the hope is that manifests itself into the form of another Super Bowl appearance, and of course, ultimately winning it all. But I think this is a group of guys who can handle adversity, handle these types of things, and use it the right way to put them in a position to be successful. So let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.